climate is positively stifling. I feel as if I were in a Turkish bath. Excuse me, sir. Pardon me, sir. Do you work here?
Yes.
So, if you don't mind my troubling you, may I ask, do you know Mr. Charles Young? You see, I was meant to have a meeting with him at 2, and it's 2 on the dot.
Yes, I know the man.
Well, that's a relief. I don't fancy my chances of finding him on my own in this place. Could I bother you to take me to him?
No, you couldn't.
And why is that?
How was it you got down here? Ain't someone supposed to be showing you around?
I insisted they leave me to my own devices beyond the airlock. I didn't want any special treatment.
What, are you crazy or something?
Please, sir, take me to Mr. Young.
Okay.
Because you're busy with your sandwich?
Because I don't know where he is.
Oh. Well, I suppose I'll just wait, then. Do you know that one? It's one of my favorites. Rescue the perishing, care for the dying, snatch them in pity, or sin and the grave. Weep for the erring one, care for the fallen, tell them of Jesus, the mighty to save. Funnily enough, I've had the pleasure of an interview with the composer, Miss Fanny J. Crosby. Perhaps you've heard of her. She's a deaconess at the 6th Avenue Baptist Bible Church. She shared with me the origin story of that song. Would you like to hear it? Oh, it's a wonderful story. On one of her many Baptist missionary endeavors, she found herself addressing a crowd of working men, not unlike yourself, on a summer day, which had a climate much like this, I would imagine. Whilst leading the men in prayer, the thought kept forcing its way into her head that some mother's son lost in the crowd must be saved that very night. Well, being the good Christian woman that she is, she told the men that if there were any boy among them who had strayed from their mother's teaching, that he should come to the platform at the conclusion of the service. Well, the conclusion came, and lo and behold, a young man of 18 came to the platform. He looked up at her and asked, "Did you mean me? For I promised I would meet my mother in heaven, but as I am now living, that would be impossible." Poor lad. But don't worry, this story does have a happy ending. Miss Crosby, she prayed for the boy, and finally he was able to rise to his feet with his hands raised to God and exclaim, "Now I will meet my mother in heaven, for I know her God." You know what? I think I'll take my chances. I'm going out to search for the elusive Mr. Young.
Wouldn't do that.
Why not?
He's bound to turn up here sooner or later.
Well, I'm not exactly keen on waiting around.
Do as you like. You know the way out.
Please, believe me, sir, I don't make a habit of shinning around unnecessarily. In fact, I pride myself on being a patient man. It's just that I'm eager to return to the surface, is all.
Scared of scuffing your shoes? Or is there something else that's bothering you? That's what I thought. I'll go find Mr. Young.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll just wait here, then. breaking no more rocks today, Horace. No, I says it's your turn to break the rocks. I've been working my bottom off since the cows come home, and I tell you, is that true? You wanna make something of it? You want to exchange fisticuffs? You see this? You see this here? I'm gonna use this to teach yous a lesson. Why you oughta take it.
Oh, no, hear this, I says. Oh, no, hear this. Now, an old woman named Dillon, living near Castlereagh in Ireland. She cut an incisive tooth in the lower jaw when 75 years old. Oh.
Sweetheart from the old country, Pat?
Oh, it confirmed a strange hallucination with which she had long been possessed, that she had been dead and come to life again with that usual infantine career of teething.
Racing's to dead? Oh, Patrick's this time you've gone too far.
Oh, he's out of his gourd.
Okay, you naysayers, but you don't believe in reincarnation.
No.
Oh. All right, fair play to you. But listen to this. All right, Mrs. Fussell, living in Acton about a dozen years ago, cut an entirely new set of teeth when about 80 years old after having been many years toothless.
Oh, she must have loved soup.
Right, in 1732, right, Margaret White of Kilkenny in Scotland cut 8 new teeth in the 87th year of her age, thus winding up a toothless period of many years. And the late Sir George Cornwell Lewis, now he was very skeptical as to people living to the age of 100. Now, he probably, therefore, would have pooh-hooed the story of Robert Lyon of Glasgow, who cut a new set of teeth at the age of 109. And then, still more than that, of James Hook of Belfast, who, in the time of Queen Elizabeth, and at the age of 112, oh, he got a new set of teeth, which just drove out all the old stumps. Well, come on, I think it's plain as day in this article, gentlemen. I think that it's plain to see that we're all being hoodwinked, scammed, bamboozled, and robbed. Oh, this modern notion of dentistry, which has been forced upon us by this new American aristocracy. Now, it's nothing but a complete and utter sham. Oh, I say our teeth were meant to fall out. And so does the scientific evidence in this here article confirm. It's just a natural occurrence that happens to make way for new teeth. And what, may I ask, gentlemen, do you think could possibly be the motivating factor behind this conveniently very expensive new trend? Money! Me lads, come on, money's the cause. So now I've got to spend a bleeding arm and a leg to keep them clean. Pah! Oh, but wait, what's that? I need tooth powder and, oh, it costs more for the kind that doesn't taste like dog shite. Oh, well, what other things must I buy? Mr. Dentist. Oh, which, by the way, is now classified in the same profession as a real doctor. Ah, can you believe that?
And that's a plot foiled by our resident Shice.
Aye.
Patrick, please believe me, I'm being genuine when I tell you that you, sir, are the biggest example of a horse's arse these eyes ever laid eye upon.
All right, sure. Now, mark all you want, but I know what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to save all of that money that I would have wasted on those dental products to purchase me a ticket out west. Why, the West, where the whiskey's cheap, opportunity still exists for the common man, and the women outnumber the men 10 to 1.
Excuse me. I don't mean to interrupt, but I happen to know the man who wrote that article. You see, my name is Howard Macy, and I myself am a reporter for the Brooklyn Eagle.
Oh, you don't say.
Yes, indeed.
And as the man who wrote this article, could you describe to us the state of his teeth? Does he practice what he preaches, so to say?
His teeth.
Yeah.
Why, he doesn't have any. They've rotted out. He awaits his new ones. Old Gummy, we call him. We've tried to convince the man to get veneers, but he refuses. He says it's only a matter of time until his new ones come in, and his breath could peel paint.
No, only time will tell. Now, he'll be the one laughing in the end. Oh, but wait, say, you're a reporter for the Eagle?
Yes.
All right, well, what did you write in here?
Well, I may not have been completely honest when I said that. What I should have said is that I'm a reporter for the Brooklyn Daily Eagle in training.
Oh, I see. Which means...
work in the mailroom.
Ah! If you're a reporter, then I'm a roebling.
But they've given me the opportunity to be the paper's liaison to the Caisson.
They probably couldn't get anyone else to do it, I bet.
Please, I'm looking for Charles Young. I'm interviewing him for the report I'm writing.
Oh, you're looking for Charles Young, are you?
Yes.
Well, I'm Charles Young.
You're Mr. Young?
Yeah, that's right. What, is there some kind of problem?
No. No problem. It's just you're not exactly what I was expecting.
Oh, what exactly were you expecting?
Well, I was told that Mr. Young is more of a big muscular fellow with a grand chest, powerful ribs, and a hearty face.
Oh, you hear that, Pat? He's calling you a wuss. A real turkey.
Ah, you shut up, you filthy Egypts! Ah, come on, what's the matter, huh? You don't think that I paint the picture, huh?
Sir, no, I'm afraid you don't. Believe me, sir, my journalistic integrity prevents me from lying. Besides, I was told that his arms were tattooed with India ink allegorically and nautically. Yours are bare and a touch on the skinny side, if you don't mind my saying.
Yeah, well. Your mother wears army boots. You fucking lolly-do.
Charles is off to another part of the Caisson. He should be making his rounds through here shortly. I'm Daniel Reardon. The crowd over there is John Myers. And the foolish Paddy trying to pull a wool over your eyes is Patrick McKay.
Oh, Patrick brings us interesting series quite often, each one more fantastic than the last. Oh, recently, he was convinced they were putting mind-controlled drugs into drinking water. The Civil War was a political hoax by Lincoln, yeah? And my personal favorite is that our co-worker Mike Lynch was a demon born down here in the Caisson.
He never leaves. Well, explain that to me. I come to work, and he's already here, and I never see him go.
It's called being a good employee, Pat.
Oh, then how do you explain the time that I caught him eating rocks?
This is the best part.
He wasn't eating rocks, Pat.
Ah, and he was so. Now I come down the ladder, all ready for me shift, when suddenly I hear this loud crunching sound. And I look over, and there's the demon, holding a rock that has a big bite taken out of it.
What a sight that must have been.
Please don't encourage him. He was light-headed coming down the ladder. He doesn't know what he saw.
Ah, you calling me a liar there, Danny boy?
Oh, no, Patrick, I'm not calling you a liar. No, I'm calling you a lousy, no-good lunatic loon with a half a brain.
Little todo ninos messa. And then bro, Danny Massive.
Look at quit.
Oh, wait! Oh, que bro, ni deep in thy boy hangs, boy! Yeah!
You Mifflin!
Yeah!
Hey, come now, gentlemen. Surely a little workplace disagreement isn't worth all this.
Oh, it's no use trying. They do this all the time. Would you like a cigarette?
No, thank you. I don't smoke.
Oh, there are many things I miss about Germany, yeah? Schnitzel, good beer, clean streets. But I must say, you Yankees really know how to make a cigarette. Well, you know, they're not supposed to smoke down here because of the compressed air, but, oh, I can't help it. Once you smoke one in the iron coffin, smoking anywhere else feels almost, mundane, yeah? Just one carries the effect of five. Oh, das ist gut, ja?
Say it! Say what?
Ah, you know what! Say it!
Kiss me ass, you gobshite bastard! I'll never say it!
Say it!
No! Fine. Oh, our lily lime tree is prettier than Lotta Crabtree. There, I've said it! Now get off of me, you fat oaf!
Gentlemen, we see now that even the wicked and the unruly can be brought round into the light of the Lord. Yes, even the ugliest of God's creatures can find salvation. I'm referring, of course, to Patrick's recent admission that Miss Lily Limetree is objectively a better and prettier actress than Miss Lotta Crabtree, and a fighter lass to bring home to your mum. Patrick, my lad, I'm sorry I had to kick your arse like that. But I couldn't have you making a fool of yourself, spreading these cockamamie ideas of yours. Patrick, the Almighty Lord tells us thou shalt not worship false idols. And there is only one true fair maiden worthy of or adulation, and that is the fair Miss Langtree. Oh, Patrick, let this recent stumping I gave you serve as a lesson. A lesson that you can run, you can fight, you can kick, you can scream, but you cannot escape the truth, my friend. And the truth is that there shall be a reckoning if you shall mention our fair maiden's name in the same breath as that plague-ridden hag at the Crabtree, whose sins and transgressions can only be enumerated by the boils upon her face and the knots in her hair, fearless leader. Lunch break over, eh?
Can, break's over. Get back to work. We still got 3 hours left in this shift, and this section's holding up the whole goddamn Caisson. Roebling gave me permission to add 10 cents to pay if we can reach 34 feet by the end of the week.
Hey!
You gotta make it first, you lazy bums!
Hey!
Oh! And Dan, a lot of Crabtrees are saints, and I'll hear no more of this Langtree nonsense.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Charles Young.
That's my name. I'm Mr. Young.
Wonderful. My name is Howard Macy. I'm a reporter from the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, covering the work down here in the Caisson. I was told you'd be the man to talk to. They say no man has spent more time in these depths.
No. That's Washington Roebling. I'll be very cross with you if you get that wrong.
We wouldn't want that. How about we move on? I wanted to ask you.
Roebling is a titan of a man. You know what did I said that in your article? Does titan of a man sound good, or should I just say great man?
I think either is perfectly suitable.
God, you bleeding brown nose. Mr. Roebling's been very good to me. I'm grateful for the work. Write that down.
Indeed. Well, and speaking of the work, if you could please show me what it is I'm looking at.
This is the belly of the East River. 1,050 lineal feet of it to be exact. That's 3 football pitches. We've broken it up into 6 compartments, housing 100 or so men, working 6 hours a day. Above ya is 25,000 tons of New York pine and steel.
Golly, have you no fear of being crushed?
Nothing unsafe about it. There's no amount of weight on Earth that can breach this frame. It's what's below us that keeps me up at night.
Demons of the depths?
Sorta. Boulders. The size of automobiles. It takes 4 men swinging hammers for 2 days to break one up.
Dear me.
They're not so bad. You should see Patrick's mother. I'd take this job down here just to escape from the slag.
Well, you say that again, I dare you.
The whole Caisson has to work at the same speed in order to descend properly. If one section gets held up, everyone has to wait. This section, in particular, is always having problems, so I give them special looking after.
Yeah, you're what you might call the dunces of the group.
From where I stand, you're not born in the woods to be scared by an owl.
They only work hard when you put some fear in them. Watch this. Pick up the pace, you sorry sons of bitches! Or so help me, I'll have every last one of your jobs!
Oh, why you can make yourself feel better.
Ain't that a gas? Hey guys, where's Mike?
Haven't seen him.
Not like him to miss out on work.
I believe I'm the one to blame for that. He must have been the man who welcomed me. He went off to find you.
Seems like we're playing musical chairs. Well, I'm gonna go get his ass back here. We are liable to fall behind without him. Please, don't stray too far.
You know, if you really want a story, you should write about the toilets.
Excuse me, the toilets?
Aye, marvels of the modern era they are. It's Roebling's crowning achievement, his opus. Now, I have a keen sense for these things, and I can safely say that sanitation has never reached such staggering heights.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
I'm not sure I follow.
Oh, please. Please allow the pleasure of enlightening you. Working in the Caisson gives you a ferocious appetite, yeah? And so, come our lunch break, we cram our bellies full of cheese, bread, beer, and cafe. Well, as you can imagine, one must effectively relieve oneself to split stones, yeah? So, you empty your belly load in said toilet receptacle, all very unremarkable, nothing too out of the ordinary. Oh, and you pull the flushing valve like the caring coworker you are, yeah? Then begins the magic. 10,000 pounds of pressurized pressurized steam rattling through rolling steel pipes. Transform your poo into a projectile. Shooting your scheisse out through the roof of the caisson in the form of a putrid mist. Frosting the East River with all of our bile. What a time to be alive, huh?
Bear that in mind next time you see children swimming in the river, huh?
I'm not sure our readers would care for that story.
Oh, nonsense. Don't you dare censor the truth. It's your duty as a newspaper man to share this.
Well,
forget the hanging gardens of Babylon, and forget the great pyramids of Giza. This is a true man-made wonder of the world. See, the mayor needs to give Roebling the keys to the city and have those pool cannons installed in every tenement on every block of every borough.
See, this is the trouble that comes from you learning how to read, right?
while it is indeed fascinating and your fervor for it infectious, it's not the angle I was thinking of taking.
What could possibly be more newsworthy?
The mysterious inner goings-on in the Caisson outside of the public view.
Do you hear that, lads? We're men of mystery.
Oh.
I knew there was a reason my wife was being warmer to me ever since I took this job. Must be the mystique of the Caisson.
Yeah, well, sadly, I think the public will see there is no mystique once you write your article. Maybe for the sake of his sex life, you had better write about something else.
Well, frankly, gentlemen, what we find most compelling are the adverse health effects the Caisson seems to be having upon the men who work in it.
What does use mean? Is adverse health effects.
Well, there have been stories.
Aye, what stories?
Well, just that something about the work has been making the men faint.
Ah. You try climbing up and down a 60-foot ladder after breaking boulders for 6 hours. See, sometimes I feel dizzy myself.
Yes, but this appears to be more than fatigue. Mere exhaustion wouldn't account for the shooting stomach pains and frantic nosebleeds. Why, some men even report being paralyzed for a time.
No, it's pig shite!
I have to agree with Patrick on this one. I've never heard of anybody who's paranoid.
Probably just some drunks who had too much beer.
Do you mean to say none of you men harbor any suspicions as to these mysterious goings-on? Surely you must have noticed the incredible rate at which men are quitting their jobs here? Some reports have been as high as 100 a week.
I've seen it. You've seen what exactly?
Guys falling down, can't feel their legs. I see something like that every day.
Give us one example, why don't you?
Just go stand outside after work and you'll see it. There's this doctor guy floating around, giving them whiskey and cocaine.
Look, mate, there's nothing wrong here. You're barking at the wrong tree, all right?
But the evidence is damning. Quite frankly, I don't know how you all sleep at night knowing you have to return to such a place. Mr. McKay, where are your radical theories? You're right now, at this very moment, living out a real-life tragedy, and you don't have anything to say about it?
They know what's going on, Mac. They just don't want you to write about it.
Shut up.
Never one word getting out. What's really going on?
Please don't throw these on the fire, Michael. Sir, I beg of you. Leave this issue alone. We're okay, yeah? Think, I come to America 4 years ago. Last summer I broke my leg and wasn't able to work for 2 whole months. There have been no jobs for me since then. My, oh, Scheiße, what's the name of that? Mother of my house, yeah, I know. Daniel, how do you say that lady who owns the house I live in?
Landlady.
Ah, yeah, landlady. My landlady, well, she's taken pity on me and let me in my room without charge for 7 months. But I fear without this job, she will be forced to ask me to leave.
I'm sorry, but think of the damage it will do to cause save nothing.
That's right, Chief. Don't let them bully you. You gotta do what's right.
Yes, I have to write it, that's it. Simply put. Sir, please, sir, let me pass.
I'm sorry, mate. Now, I can't let you leave unless you say that you're not going to put that stuff in your paper.
Patrick, let him go. It's not working.
No, just listen to me for a minute, mate. Now, do you have any idea how hard it is for a fresh, off-the-boat Mick like me to find decent work? Huh? Do ya? I need my $2 a week.
I warn you, sir, I'll call for the police.
You are 40 feet below a world that doesn't have time for you, Mr. Mailroom.
It's not worth the trouble.
He's just trying to scare you. He's not gonna do anything. He's not that stupid. Hey, do me a favor and write his name in your article so as they know who to blame. That's Patrick McKay. M-C-K.
Shut up! I've heard quite enough out of you! You! God, you disgust me, you bastard! You know what, Mike? Not all of us were born in America. Now, we don't all have it good like you. See, some of us struggle, you know? You dopey mama's boy. You don't have to worry about nothing. Nothing at all! Now, come on. Hit me. Hit me, you godless fuck. Oh, yeah, you're a real smart fella, ain't you? Oh, yeah, you got it all worked out. Yeah, you know that if I hit you, I'm gonna go rot in a stinking cell with all the other pathetic Irish lads who dared stick up for themselves. Oh, God, you're sick, you know that? You are demented. You know, I got a question for you, Mike. Where are you sleeping tonight, huh? Because I'm going back to me dirty flea-infested bed. In my rat trap room. It's all I can afford because you Americans hike up the damn rent. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but I don't owe you a damn thing. I have just as much of a right to be in this country as you do. What?
M-C-K-A-Y, McKay.
Mike, shut up! Take it easy, Pat. Hey, that's it. Breathe. Hey. Now drink this.
Wait. What's this blood coming out of me nose for? Wait, what's going on? Dad,
Let's get him out of here.
Should I call for the doctor? Are you quite all right?
Don't worry, I'm fine. I get little pains from time to time.
That hardly seemed like a little pain.
It's nothing really. Gosh, I haven't seen you since the Caisson. It's good of you to come.
Yes, I received your letter.
How are you? Can I get you something?
No.
Honey!
No, thank you, I'm all right. Your wife offered me something already. I shouldn't stay long.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry if I seem a little shocked. face brings back a lot of memories.
And yours mine.
Gosh, must have been 7 years.
It has been a while.
Yeah, I'll say. We're almost done with that damn bridge at this point.
Yes, it's coming along quite well, isn't it?
Yeah. It's coming along great. Except for all those guys who've died.
Yes. Those poor men. Well, I must admit your letter caught me off guard. What did you mean by asking me here?
Well, I wanted to talk to you, Howard. I wanted to talk to an old friend.
An old friend?
Yeah,
We barely knew each other, Charles.
I think we knew each other.
We met only a couple of times, Charles.
Oh, come on.
Charles, before we go any further, you should know I do not consider myself responsible for what happened to those men, and I won't stand around here and pretend like we're old chumps.
Sure thing, Howard. No one's expecting anything from you. I'm just happy to see you, so. Glad to see you doing okay.
I apologize, Charles. You didn't deserve that.
It's all right, Howard.
No, I'm sorry. The paper has me on my nerves as of late. Here, let me do that. Just sit. What do I do?
Just dig a little hole there. We got some petunias I want to get going for the summer. Appreciate you, Howard. My wife sends me out here to get some fresh air, but she keeps an eye on me. She comes and maintains these plants herself when I'm not here.
She sounds like a caring wife.
Who would have thunk? Howard Macy getting his hands dirty while Charles Young kicks back.
I think you'll find I'm different in a lot of ways than I was back then. The Caisson changed me too.
For better or for worse?
I don't know. Worse.
Yeah?
It's nothing, really. I lose sleep and what have you. Sometimes I feel dizzy. I need to sit down.
Whiskey helps with that.
Everything in moderation. Even moderation. More than anything, I would say that my perspective has been distorted, or maybe just shifted. I've come a touch unwound. It's the strangest thing, to tell you the truth. When I go to have a hard-line opinion on something, I second-guess myself. I seem to have lost my principles and convictions. Makes being a reporter a real bother.
Here's to not knowing shit. I wouldn't worry. Your old opinionated self will rear its ugly head from time to time. And if you're anything like me, it'll make you out to be even more of a blind fool than before. I bet you're wondering why I asked you here.
I am curious, yes.
Well, I've been following your career down at the Eagle, Howard. Ever since you wrote that first thing on the Caisson, I've been reading the paper every week to see what kind of stuff you're writing. The other day I was flipping through and I noticed they made you the editor.
Associate editor.
Yeah, right. Associate editor. And it got me thinking, ain't that something? About time they got something right over there.
It was the article I wrote about the Caisson that really began my career.
Yeah, I think we still have it somewhere. My wife held on to it. By the way, thank you for not writing about the disease and all.
Don't mention it. I didn't want to speculate.
I think you saw enough to make more than speculation.
I saw enough to be careful about what I was writing.
Yeah, well, seeing your name with the big shot title next to it got me thinking. Got me thinking this disease is soon to claim my life. And it's claimed others. Maybe we could write that story again. But this time take a different angle. I want you to write about the disease, Howard. I want you to use me as an example of what the Caisson did to all those men.
Charles, my paper doesn't really write about things of that sort.
What sort?
You know, alarmist topics.
I see.
It's not just us. Newspapers in general would lose their readership if people thought we were raising a frenzy or something like that.
I'm not asking you to raise a frenzy, Howard. Just tell the truth about what happened down there. If I could write it, I would, but I've no sense for anything like that. And besides, you're the only one with the resources to do the story justice.
I don't know, Charles. I could lose my job.
Remember when you first came down to meet us in the Caisson? Remember how idealistic you were? You were chomping at the bit to tell that story.
I hated that terrible fluff piece I ended up writing. What a load of rubbish.
Hey, you gave a pretty damn good description of the Caisson, that's for sure. Don't sell yourself short. But now let's complete the story, Howard. Let's tell it right, so we can all move on and do justice to all those guys.
I'd heard you were in this condition. No longer a part of the bridge company.
Yeah, well, they kept me around as long as they could. Tried giving me a job above ground when I couldn't hack into the Caisson anymore. Didn't stick, though.
Well, okay then. Okay. When I returned back after a week, can we start there?
Maybe it's not a voice. No, it's a fly. A wee, annoying, buzzing little fly that's come down here to see who can drive a mad.
Well, maybe if I came back at another time.
No, it's not a fly at all, no. It's a fart. A wee, stinking, squeaking little fart that eats its way in the pimple arsehole. See if it can further infect our air.
There's no need to be crude.
He doesn't know.
Excuse me?
You want to tell him? Haven't you noticed we're a little short-handed?
Oh. Well, that's my fault, isn't it? Oh, damn this curiosity of mine. I should have left it alone. There would have been no harm. How will I live with myself knowing that Mr. McKay's blood is on my hands? Oh, God in heaven, what have I done? I'll burn for all eternity. I swear I'm not a bad person. I meant no real harm towards the man. I swear it. You have to believe me. You have to. I swear
You all
I
right
didn't
there,
mean
mate?
it. Oh, wait, it's your. I'm sorry. I'm confused.
Not him, you bleeding idiot.
Well, then who?
John.
Oh.
I sure do appreciate it, mate. You know, I especially like the part about you burning for all eternity.
If I remember correctly, you were the one who was carried out when last I was here.
Oh, yeah. It's a funny story, that. Yeah, old boy went bad shape and all. I couldn't feel my legs and that. And, well, I was crying like a baby, to tell you the truth. But when I did indeed reach the surface, the blood stopped coming out of my nose. And I stood up, right as rain, my legs coming back to me, and it was just like nothing had happened at all.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, it sure is, mate.
John, no. John wasn't so lucky. He didn't come into work this morning. We all thought he'd quit. Then Charles came down and told us that he died in the night in his boarding house.
May he rest in peace. But it's true. Do you see? Do you see now? Do you see that there are things happening here that are out of the ordinary?
Oh, it doesn't prove anything, mate.
You can't be serious.
Ah, it's just one man dying out of hundreds. I mean, there's no use jumping to any conclusions.
Mr. Reardon?
Why don't you get out of here, Mr. Macy? You've done quite enough, don't you think?
Please be reasonable, Mr. Reardon. Mr. Myers deserves more than to write off his death with these pale excuses. Why not let me use his example as to tell the whole of Brooklyn what you men go through on a daily basis?
Hey, Ding Dong, do you need their permission to write your story?
Oh, Mike, just shut your yap.
You have eyes, don't you? You got all the proof you need. You're wasting time being down here.
For the love of God, Mike, please leave it alone.
Jeez. I don't get yous guys. Don't you want him to write his article? John died because of how it is down here and you want to brush it aside? To me personally, that's crazy. Makes me question whether or not John was even your friend. Maybe I was more of a real friend to him than you.
You don't have any friends, and you never will, Mike.
There you go, running your mouth again. It's always the same old thing. That really confuses me, I tell you. I just don't understand it. Hey, newspaper stiff. Before you go, I got something I wanted to talk to you about. Thought it might be good for you to write about in your article. Remember that story you told me last time you was here about the kid getting his soul saved? Well, I'm a church going man myself. And I've been thinking about some recently. I've been thinking how we all lost sight of what God's mercy really means. You see, my mother got headaches in her old age. These wasn't no normal headaches. I called them the Kilmeys. That's all she'd say when she was having one. She'd be sitting there, then all of a sudden start moaning and groaning, saying she can feel one coming on. Ma, relax, I say. You're making it worse with all this nonsense. But off she'd go, rocking back and forth in the chair, banging her head against the wall. clawing at her face and begging for death. God's mercy is every moment you're alive not going through that. We're getting scalped by Apaches. No one is grateful anymore. And the devil, yeah, we don't forget about him real easy. His job is just to remind you that he's there. It's just old Lucifer saying hello, showing us firsthand that we reap what we sow. We're paying the dues for the whole of humanity down here. I don't see you taking any notes.
Blow out your arse, Mike.
Yeah, no one wants to hear the truth. What else is new? I got news for you, bub. The crowd knew exactly what he was getting himself into coming down here. We all do, right? Whether this place makes you sick or not, you're diving down with a hole they have to pump air into just to keep you breathing. What do you expect? My father understood all that. Real smart man he was. Or stop blowing smoke, he used to say. I'm sick of all this smoke. Can't we talk real? He was a real good talker, all right.
Apples don't make pears, huh?
Died when I was young.
How did he die, may I ask?
Eaten by a whale.
Huh? Come off it.
At least that's what my mother told me. She said he left on a fishing trip and she never saw him again.
I got tired of looking at your ugly mug all the time.
Don't get me wrong, I'm glad he's gone. Maybe Ma killed him, who knows? He didn't talk much, but when he did, you listened. I'd get in fights with kids at school. They called him a drunk and a deadbeat. Ma's up in heaven cursing his ass to this day. You know what I say? I say he might have not done much for me, but he gave me a funny way of looking at things from the outside. And the crowd dying, that's just the way of the world, Mac. We're all digging our own graves being down here.
Well now, you're a fucking cunt. Yes, you're a fucking cunt. Hi-ho, the dairy, no, yes, you're a fucking cunt. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. I was just observing how big of a cunt you are. And that song, now, it just sprang out of me. What's in this stupid thing anyway, huh? You know, for someone who has such a firm grasp on reality, you sure do spend a lot of time reading childish horse shite. Oh, is that upsetting you, Mike? Because God, I hope so. See, this one is for you insulting me, friend John. And this one is for you trying to make me lose me job. And this one is for you always being a fucking prick.
Why would you do a thing like that? I'm gonna have to hurt you.
Oh, no! Go on! You just leave it alone, damn! No, you demon! Alright! Break it up, Selby! I'll have you judged! Oh, your mother was a tart with no morals! Hey. You ugly mutt-head! Do the best that you ran over your kid! You're no good! Leave him alone! Leave him! That's enough! And your mother's a whore! That's enough, I said! Turn it up! Turn it up! enough, huh? Yeah.
Take it easy.
I don't hear you talking now.
That's enough.
It's a real big man, huh? Now look at you. Now you're nothing.
You need to calm down. The air is too thin.
I hope I killed Charles.
Hey.
I hope that I... Oh, God, no. They're gonna hang me, aren't they? Not... I don't want to die. Get up, you Yankee bastard.
He'll be all right, Pat. He'll be all right. Just take it easy, all right, pal? Why don't you head home, grab a pint? You feel right as rain. That sound good, Pat? Pat? Thanks for coming with me, Howard. My wife makes me go on those little walks, but insists that I don't go alone. She usually goes with me, but I really hate to bother her with the way I am.
No trouble at all. It was a good opportunity to ask you questions about the Caisson.
Do you have the time?
noon.
Oh. Excuse me. It's time for my medicine.
For the pain?
It used to be, but to be honest, now it's more for me.
Charles. Charles, can you hear me? Charles, hey. Hey, wake up. Charles, come on, man. Charles!
I'm sorry, Howard. Look on your face. I couldn't resist. I pull that one on my wife sometimes. She practically faints.
Careful, Charles. If you wake snakes in such a way, it will come back to haunt you.
Oh, take it easy, Howard. When you're in the condition I'm in, a little laugh takes you away from it.
Well, I suppose. When you put it like that.
No, you're right. I really am addicted to the stuff. I can't really get through the day without it.
Go easy on that stuff, Charles. It's been the ruin of many a man. God forbid you actually did take too much.
Howard, I have to tell you, that sounds just great. Slipping off all easy like that. Sounds much better than the death I'm bound for. Let me just accidentally put a little too much in this thing one day and just fall asleep. Forever. Don't you ever get tired of it, Howard? Imagine not having to deal with any of it ever again. I don't mind the thought of no more pain. I can tell you that much.
You have a lot to live for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. After Pat died, things started to get worse in the Caisson. Guys were really nervous. There was the general sense that the place was cursed. That we weren't supposed to be down there. I had fought in the war and had friends die on me. I didn't think I was gonna have to go through it again.
I'm sorry, Charles.
What for?
I'm sorry I didn't come back again after. I couldn't stand the thought of showing my face down there again once Patrick had died. I didn't feel like I deserved to see any of you.
We understood, Howard.
Maybe if I hadn't provoked him into that argument, it never would have happened.
Howard, there's nothing you could have done. Death was all over that place. You tried to warn us. We should have listened.
Yes, well, I failed.
You're a good man, Howard. None of us doubted that. All of us would have done the same in your position. There's one more favor I wanted to ask of you, Howard.
Yes. Of course, Charles. Anything you need, just ask.
Okay, but try to keep an open mind.
Okay.
The doc only gives me enough morphine to cut the pain a little bit. Just to keep my head above water. What I need you to do is, I need you to get me a bunch of the stuff.
Why? No.
I'm tired, Howard.
How could you even ask me something like that?
You'd be doing me a favor.
It would be murder!
Keep your voice down.
I'm leaving. This is...
Help me, Howard, please. Please, it'd been mercy. All the day's pain, I'm a terrible burden on my wife. I'm not a man. I'm not half a man. I've been dead since I stepped into that Caisson, Howard. We all were. I see its towers grow in the distance, and all I can think of is how I'm gonna die an unforgiving death. Don't let that happen to me, Howard. At least let me go out easy, I've had enough pain. Just once, I'd like it to be easy.
come on now. Up with yous. Well, I've checked the whole case, man. I can't seem to find what the problem is. Come on, Charles, we're really behind. The whole rest of the Caisson's waiting on us. Oh, you get up right now, or I'll fire your ass!
Well, hey there, fellers.
What do you say, McDonald?
Well, just got done carrying that dirt to that big shovel thing like you asked me to, boss.
That's great, McDonald. We call it an elevator.
Well, sorry. That elevator thing is pretty cool, huh?
That it is, McDonald. That it is.
So, what's next on the docket there, boss?
Sorry.
What do you want me to do? This guy.
Yeah. Take this shovel and go dig a hole somewhere.
Will do, boss. Will do. Oh, say, while I got you here real quick, just want to say how much I do appreciate the job here, Mr. Boss Man. Me being all new to New York and all, it's nice to be gainfully employed. And what have you?
Well, that's just swell, McDonald. We're happy to have you.
Plus, I get to meet great fellers like you and my good bud Danny Boy here. Come here, Danny Boy.
Your hands to yourself, you bleeding idiot, for Christ's sake!
Oh, that's Danny Boy, all right. You know, I calls him that because he's Irish. Come here, Danny Boy. Come here, don't be scared. Come here. You know what they say? They say the greatest friendships are formed through hardship. Yeah. Well, by that notion, and considering the nature of the work we got down here, you and I are going to be buds forever. What do you say to that there, Danny Boy?
I'd say you're a few apples short of a fruitcake.
Oh, fruitcake. That's Danny Boy, all right, always busting my chops. Say, what about you, boss? Do you want to be my friend?
Of course I do, McDonald. You don't always have to call me boss. Charles is fine.
Say, that's rather egalitarian of you, boss. Charles. And just for the record, I do in fact like being called by my Christian name, which is McDonald. So you're doing that right, huh?
Glad to hear.
Yeah. I left my lunch in another part of the Caisson. I better giddy up before somebody snakes out, huh? Oh, I can't forget to dig my hole, huh? Well, adios, amigos.
Oh, have you got a gun?
Why the hell would you want a gun?
That's just so I can blow my bleeding brains out before that imbecile comes back.
Yeah. He's a good worker. And to be honest, I kind of like having him around. Hey, Dan, I need to talk to you about something I thought you should know. Thinking about calling it quits down here.
It's not even 1 p.m., Chuck. Don't you get a little early?
Nah. I'm not sure I'm going to work on the bridge anymore, at least not the Caisson, that's for sure. I don't want to be here anymore, I think.
You don't want to be here?
That's right.
What about your family?
I'll find work somewhere.
Do you think Roebling will recommend you if you just up and quit like that?
Maybe. I just won't work for a couple months, huh?
Look at the state of you!
What the hell?
You're a goddamn disgrace!
choice. Take it.
What are you doing,
I'm
man?
finding the fucking rock so I can fucking smash it with a fucking hammer so the fucking death trap we're in can have another 2 fucking hairs of a fucking lamb's cock to do the same fucking thing again next week and so on and so forth till I fucking die!
Hey! You need to slow down. Take it easy. Hey, take it easy. Breathe. Hey, look, I'm picking up the spike. Look, I'm taking a big swing with the spike, huh? Shadoosh! Look, now I'm holding the spike like it's a cane, huh? Now I'm putting on an imaginary top hat. Now I'm dancing like I'm in vaudeville, huh? Ruben Knight has long been thinking what a good world this might be if the men were all transported probably on the northern sea. Rachel, I have long been thinking what a fine world this might be if we had some more young ladies on this side of the northern sea.
You're sick in the head, you are.
I was made for the stage.
We're doing great work for people like you.
Don't quit on me. The whole bridge would fall apart without you, and I'd have to kill myself, and I'd much prefer not to have to kill myself.
But, you'd have McDonald all to yourself. It's hard. It's a hard, hard job. It's a hard, hard life.
Yes. Yes, it is. Did I ever tell you? I used to have a farm back in Ireland. My parents left it to me. I had this grand notion I was going to sell my farm and buy the ticket to America and make my fortune. And instead, all I got was drafted by the Yanks to fight in their war and did the best I could not to get shot. Thanks a lot, Johnny Reb. It's greed, mate. It's nothing short of pure human greed and foolhardiness that makes people like me come here. I mean, sure, the newspapers all say we were escaping poverty and persecution. That's bollocks. We just heard there was a place we could make a quick buck or two. I ask you, if that's the reasoning behind people like me coming here, do we really deserve to live comfortably?
By that logic, all of America is full of treasure seekers.
Yes, exactly. New York in particular. I mean, here, somebody would step on your neck just to lift themselves out of the shite that we're all in. They wouldn't think twice about it either. I think I've become accustomed to the feeling of being owned. See, in Ireland, you end up working for the King of England no matter how you slice it, and here I'm digging holes in a death trap for Andrew Carnegie after winning him his war.
I don't think Carnegie is in on this.
Chuck, he's getting a cut of this somehow. I promise you. This bridge is going to turn New York into even more of a madhouse than it already is. I mean, we're just enabling people's idea of a great America even more. They all have this lunatic notion that they can achieve some state of happiness by making themselves a success.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. Well, ain't nothing we're gonna be able to do about it today, though. Let's get back to it. Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, what are you doing here, pal? Shouldn't you be home in bed?
I got something I gotta show you.
You can wait, Mike. You still look a little rough from the other day.
Fine.
Mike, I'm sorry. You gotta get out of here. Go home. You're in no shape to be here.
No, look at this.
Get him out of here, Charles.
Take it easy. Mike, this is ridiculous. Come on, you gotta get out of here. Come on, up the ladder. Up you go.
No, wait.
Mike, I'm not kidding. Get your ass up that ladder. Mike, I am really not kidding around with you. You gotta get out of here. You need to be rested in bed.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I killed him. I killed him, man. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. What am I gonna do? I'm a murderer. I'm a murderer. I was just angry. Always angry. Everything makes me angry all the time. Patrick was right. I am a demon.
Mike, you're not a demon. No one thinks you're a demon, right? Right, Dan? He's not a bad person. He's not a demon.
Look, I got the paper. Got the newspaper, guy's paper. Look, it's on the front page.
What is it? What does it say?
Sorry, it's Howard Mason's article about the Caisson.
What does it say?
What does it say, Charles?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, it gives a good description of the Caisson and talks about Robles and something, but that's it. There's no mention of men getting sick at all.
Nothing. No Patrick.
No Patrick. No John. Nothing.
So it really was all for nothing then. I mean, he did exactly what we asked him to do. What are we gonna do, Charles?
What else can we do, Dan? We're gonna pick up our tools and get back to work, just like you said. We're gonna keep moving. From one stone until the next, until our time here is done. We're not gonna stop. We're not gonna quit. We're gonna fight. Fight until our last breath. And when the bridge goes up, we'll be heroes. On our house, they'll put plaques saying, here lived Daniel Reardon. And here lived Patrick McKay. Heroes of the Brooklyn Bridge. And we'll tell stories to our grandchildren of how we built the Brooklyn Bridge. And the stone that holds up the pillars, was built on the backs of our friends. And that world will never forget us.
Okay. Hey, Mike, there's something wrong with Mike.
Hey! Mike! Wake up, Mike.
What's going on? What's happening? Did you read the paper? You must take me. Can't even imagine how much you must hate me. He was your friend, and I killed him. I killed him. I killed him. I didn't mean to. I didn't
to die.
He knows, pal. He knows. We were just talking about Patrick and how he died now. How we don't think it was your fault. It's the Caisson that took him. Right, Dan? Dan. Dan. Isn't that right? You don't think it's Mike's fault that Patrick died?
No, Mike. It wasn't your fault. It was just the Caisson that took him. He must have breathed in too much of the air or something.
I'm sure that was it. He just breathed in too much of that compressed air.
You don't think I'm a demon?
No, you're not demon, Mike.
You're a demon. You're no angel. But you're no demon either.
That was just a game that Patrick played. He didn't mean it. Come on. Up with you.
I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry.
I know you are. It's okay. Let's get you some grub, eh? No eating the rocks now, all right? Eh?
Rock eater.
Oh boy. Roast beef. My favorite. Not today. No, not today shall we feel the taste of loss. Not today shall we bow our heads and die. Hey, you there. Smoke is seeping out between those beams. Scale the walls. Up you go. Find the source and stuff it out. Here. Breathe into this wet rag. Grab that little scared boy inside of you. Set him on his own 2 feet. Show him how to stand like a man. Now go! Shoot up that wall! Brace our encasement! Those men whose souls were claimed in dust and mud, who had their breath ripped from their gullets, whose blood and sweat greased the gears and stayed behind while their bodies gave out. Those men will not die in vain! What do we eat? What do we eat? Red meat! Red meat! What do we eat? What do we eat? Red meat! Red meat!
see you again.
Would you blame me if I didn't come back?
No, no. I don't think I would. I'm glad you did, though.
Well, we never did finish the interview. Need to know a few more things about the Caisson disease, as I've taken to calling it.
Do your worst.
Tell me about the disease.
I know that the deeper we went down, the worse it got. By the end, we were 78 feet below sea level. And Roblin was only letting men stay down for a few hours at a time because the sickness had gotten so bad. Guys would have all kinds of crazy things happen to them. Only 6 died, but I heard about a third of the guys that went down were disabled in some fashion. Usually they wouldn't come back after one go.
But some did.
Yeah. The crazy ones.
And when did you first have problems?
I was okay until the fire. I was down for 16 hours then. Haven't been the same since. Anything else?
What happened to Daniel and Michael?
Daniel died shortly after the fire. The disease finally took him. But Mike, that son of a bitch, he still works on the bridge. Hardly missed a day yet.
I believe that's enough. I must be off. Charles. I just want to say that you are a dear friend of mine. I wish there was more I could do to help you. I hope you find some rest.
be so good.
Quiet, you awake?
I feel like we should be getting back to work. Mike, if you ruin this for me, I swear to Christ, I would
Maybe
just...
he's right. Scaring your boss isn't exactly what I call good thinking, young.
Quiet, how are you? He's sleeping. Down around.
On the count of three, right?